Hello and welcome back to Explaining Acro. I'm Ben and this is Cassandra, and today we're going to be teaching Russian rolls. Russian rolls are a tricky skill that requires some comfort in foot to hand. Before you start working on them, we recommend that you have a solid 10-second L-base foot to hand with both bent and straight arms. Because Russian rolls involve a lot of awkward positions and weight shifts, we're going to cover some drills that are going to help you build comfort and strength in those positions. The first one that we're going to focus on is something that we call pistons. Now, there are a lot of different variations of this exercise that have their various pros and cons, but the one that we're going to show to you is something that we think carries over well to Russian rolls.
Flyers, once we're here, we're going to shift our weight to one of our legs and then turn our hips in the direction that we want to step up in.
Once all this weight is in my left arm, I'm going to extend my right arm.
And Flyers, then we can pour weight onto this right leg as we step up and our hips turn back to the front.
I'm waiting for her to take that step so that it's nice and easy to press up. Then I'm going to turn my arms and wait for her.
And Flyers, the leg we stepped up on is now going to go down straight, and we're going to make this leg weightless.
I'm letting her control the weight at which we come down by the bending of that front leg.
Once we're here, the base will lower this arm and we can pour weight into this leg as it goes down.
When the base is on their belly during Russian rolls, the flyer is probably going to end up with their feet in a super pigeon-toed position. In order to build comfort with this, we're going to practice it first in an L-base position. The last foot-to-hand drill we want to cover involves the base moving the flyer laterally past their center of mass and back to the center. Building strength here is going to help us really slow down and control the first half of the Russian roll. So we're going to start in an extended foot-to-hand. Bases, we want to have our legs straddled for lateral stability. I'm going to bend my right elbow and rotate the flyer as I move slightly off of my center of mass.
Flyers, once we're up here and the base is turn us, we want to follow that turn, and then we want to keep the weight evenly distributed among our feet, which that means we're going to have to bend this back leg we're standing on to keep that weight evenly distributed for that first part.
Now that we've talked about some foot-to-hand drills, we're going to focus on some footwork for the base. Now, the goal of the lower half for the base during Russian rolls is to provide lateral stability and to control things as we're rolling around on the ground. This drill that I learned in physical therapy I found actually translates really well to Russian rolls. I'm going to start lying on my back with my arms overhead. I'm focusing on keeping my upper body pretty much relaxed, but having a little bit of core tension. I'm going to reach my leg across, piking in order to help pull myself around, reaching towards the wall using my leg in order to get onto my stomach. And then I'm going to take my back leg and I'm going to reach it long, again keeping just enough core tension in order to get back to my back. And then I'll try this on both sides.
We're now going to talk about flyer footwork. And a common question we get with this skill is who follows and who leads? And is it the base? Is it the flyer? And the answer is that it's both. So keep that in mind as we begin mapping out this skill, who leads and follows at which part. So to get started, Flyers, we are an extended foot to hand with our weight evenly distributed. The base will initiate the skill by giving a gentle turn, and when you feel that, allow your hips to turn as far as possible. At this time, your weight is evenly distributed and you're keeping your center of mass towards the base. From this point, when the base gets to their belly and this elbow touches the ground, you can then pour weight into that leg, going into that mono position, really squeezing the glute as you turn around. In this position, you are in pigeon-toed, and once you're here, Flyers, this is where you lead. You lean onto that left leg, going into that mono, keeping this leg as weightless as possible, allowing those hips to turn. Once the base is elbows in their hip, you can now step forward onto that front leg, leading the base up to extended foot to hand.
Now that we've done all the drills, we're going to start by focusing on the first half of the Russian roll. We're going to start with the flyer having their feet on the ground and holding the base as hands so that we can walk through the various steps nice and slow. To initiate this movement, I'm bringing my left leg across my body and my right elbow back. I'm making sure to keep my left arm in line or slightly in front of my torso and not behind it.
Flyers, in the beginning, we rotate with the base, and as their right arm bends, we evenly distribute our weight among both legs until that right elbow touches the floor.
As my elbow hits the ground, I wait for all of the weight to get into it before I move my left arm more. As you can see in this position, my forearm is basically parallel to the ground and is not in a good weight-bearing position.
Flyers, this is important that once this elbow's on the ground, we pour all of our weight into that arm, into a mono foot to hand. And we want to leave this other foot weightless as the base is moving through this position.
I'm thinking about sliding my leg out as I bring that other arm around. And if I want, I can use my head to provide a little bit of extra support to that single limb balance.
Flyers, once that other elbow touches the floor, then we can pour our weight into that arm again.
For the second half of the Russian roll, we're going to start with the flyer's feet on the ground again, holding the base as hands.
All right, Flyers, once we're here, we're going to shift our weight onto our left foot and make this right foot as weightless as possible.
I'm waiting for all that weight to come to the left foot, and then I'm bringing up my right leg in order to give me something to push off of. I'm bringing this arm up so that my elbow is over my hip.
Flyers, it's important here to keep all that weight in that left foot as we move through this transition. And once the base's elbow gets here, we can actually step forward onto that foot.
That step really helps me get up. At this point, I'm providing pressure through both hands and bringing this leg around in order to slow myself down as we come back to the starting position. To get in position to practice the second half of the Russian roll, it's helpful to have a spotter load the flyer onto the base. As a spotter, I'm starting behind the flyer with my hands on their hips.
Flyers, I like to take the wrist as I step in to give me some support. I hand my foot to the base, step into their hand while gripping the spotter's wrists. Once I'm here, I let go and balance.
Now we're ready to put everything together. If you want, we can again begin with the flyer's feet on the ground holding the base as hands. We find this variation really helpful when we haven't done the skill together in a while or when we're working with new people. To initiate, I'm bringing my left leg across my body and thinking about turning the flyer as I pull my elbow back.
Flyers, we let this turn happen as we let the weight evenly distribute among our feet. Once that elbow's on the floor, I'm balancing in a mono.
Once I feel all the weight in that hand, I'm coming around and bringing that other arm to the ground.
This is where we're balancing on both hands and we shift to that left foot.
I'm pulling my right leg up and moving that elbow over my hip.
And here we step forward onto that leg, going up to extended.
When spotting the Russian roll, I'm going to stand behind the flyer with my hands at their hips. As the skill rotates, I'm going to move with them, being careful not to trip the base. If things go bad, I'm going to think about pushing the flyer gently forward so that they're not falling backwards and trusting them to land on their feet while keeping my hands on their hips to make sure they land upright. I can add a little bit of stability as they rotate. Thanks for joining us for one of our favorite skills. Let us know how it went in the comments section down below and subscribe for more videos in the future. We have many videos of me flossing.
No, but in this shooting too.
We have many videos of me flossing in this shooting.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Got that all on camera?